My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now.
Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramerica. Other people want to make friends? I'm just trying to make you money. My job is not just to entertain, educate, coach you. So call me at 1-800-743-CNBC or tweet me at Jim Cramer. We got a Johnny Mercer market, as in accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch onto the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In Between. Now, that may sound somewhat counterintuitive on a day where the Dow dropped 89 points, S&P backslid 0.66%, and the Nasdaq lost 1.25%. But hear me out. It's true. This market refuses to traffic in everything that's going wrong and instead focuses on what could go right. I'm going to give you some concrete examples. We came to this market with plenty of ugliness. You can taste the disappointment. You got House Democrats moving to impeach the president for last week's attack on the Capitol. They're basically saying we got a crazy man in the White House who's capable of anything in the next 9 days. The papers are filled with stories about how Biden's inauguration next week could be a similar travesty. The social media stocks were in the crosshairs after they suspended Trump for inciting violence. And Bitcoin, which tends to help the stock market when it rallies, it got taken to the woodshed. Down nearly 25% from its highs last Friday at one point. And by the way, this thing, it does not trade well during the weekend. I mean, it's not, let's just say I don't regard anything that happened this weekend with Bitcoin as being serious, but understand it's down. In short, things look pretty darn bleak. I mean, at 4 a.m., I was saying, oh, man, we got a real loser today. Yet the futures just can't seem to drag this market down. And it is the futures that take it down, or try to. Yes, we had a weak opening. But then the Accentuate the Positive crew came in and started buying. They created an in-between market with pockets where investors kept latching onto the affirmative no matter what. Now, before I get into the details of what's getting the treatment of legendary songwriter Johnny Mercer, I'm going to tell you a story from this weekend that I think really does crystallize what's happening in the stock market. It's a little anecdotal. I know you want empirical, but I got to give this to you. So I was out in Summit, New Jersey this weekend, and I realized I'd left the plugs for my PC. My new thing is to carry two of them. Why? Because I don't know. I mean, because I break one, mostly because I eat lunch on one. Had to clean it up a little. Oh, I was bummed. Where are the plugs? Where are the plugs? But my wife said, no worries. We can go to Best Buy. It's 3.5 miles away. What's the deal? I told her, no way. I don't want to get COVID. I mean, like you, is that the way you talk now? Oh, I don't want to get COVID. We talk about the virus all the time, and I prefer not to go anywhere except my friend Michael's Garage Bar because he's got a big screen TV and he's got terrific ventilation. Oh, yeah, they're nice people. These are my priorities in the age of coronavirus. My wife says just get in the dark car. She'll go in, everything will be fine. We get to Best Buy. It's in Vauxhall, which she called Vauxhall, and there's this line 20 deep to get in the store. I tell her, you don't be a martyr, I'll go in myself. So I wait my turn. I pass a sign that says they're sold out of PlayStation, new Xbox. Made a note that you got to go buy anything involving those creams. But when I get to the front of the line, there's a Best Buy guy there. Hey, yeah, he's wearing a blue shirt. I said, oh, what's the deal with this line? Like, why am I waiting in line? And he goes, well, you can't just mill around the store. As a matter of fact, you have to have a customer service rep with you, and they only have so many customer service reps, so you got to wait in line. The lack of a crowd protects everyone from COVID, even though he said there are a lot of upset people who just come up to the door and say, can't I just go in and shop? I want to buy something. I saw that. Guys, I'd like to shop. Get out. I thanked him, even as the wait was a bummer. Turns out if I had called ahead, someone would have brought the plugs outside for me. I get the plugs, get back in the car, and I start griping. I said, whoever heard of waiting in line to get into a store to be able to buy one thing, not be able to buy anything else, and then they ship you out? I mean, Best Buy's last quarter wasn't so good. This has got to be the short of a lifetime. I mean, they're screwing up again. Well, she was apoplectic. What are you complaining about? What kind of jerk are you? What kind of jerk gives a retailer a hard time for protecting their customers and their employees? Well, she's got a point. This is mad money, not mad public health. So I figured Best Buy's got to be in trouble, right? I mean, how can you not be in trouble? I mean, how can you go to a store and the guy says, hey, no shopping here? But before I can even open the book on it to take a look today to tell you whether to sell it or not, what happens? The stock takes off. Given that Best Buy shopper, everybody this weekend probably had the same experience, at least the smaller format stores. Isn't that bad for business? In this market, though, my wife Lisa's right. There are buyers swarming for the stock regardless of the business. See, they don't seem to care that the company's actively discouraging shoppers. Why not? Well, first, maybe they don't care about the quarter because they have visions of vaccines dancing in their heads. Second, maybe the buyers don't care about the lines. People want their electronics, and they're willing to wait in the freezing cold to buy them. Admittedly, it would have bothered me a lot less if I'd call ahead for curbside. Third, maybe we have a shortage of retail stocks with exposure to the home office theme because nobody's going anywhere when the COVID numbers are this horrifying. Target, Williams-Sonoma, Lowe's, Home Depot. You've seen those stocks? They all work higher. The most important takeaway, though, I've been trading for 4 decades. Yeah, that old. What can you do? And in any other market, you would short the heck out of a stock 9 ways to Sunday if you weren't allowed to shop in there. Can you imagine? But how can they make the numbers if they're only letting a couple people in? Hey, be careful of that aisle. You're not allowed in that aisle. You might see something you like. But in this market, a line around the block to get in is a reason to buy, not sell. That's bringing gloom down to a minimum. Remember, when the whole country went into lockdown, there was an incredible buying opportunity for stocks like this one. That said, when you see stores only letting customers in one at a time, the way to play it is Amazon, right? But that's sold up big today. I say that one's headed higher, too. It just had a bad day. What about the other accentuate the positive plays? Let's go over some of them, okay? Boeing. All right, sadly, another plane went down this weekend. Given the company's recent track record, you had to believe the stock would get obliterated today. No, there's big analyst push. Boeing barely got dinged. How about Twitter? Politics aside, I think you're banning the #1 attraction, the real Donald Trump, will hurt their ability to make a lot of money. But the fact that the stock was only down a couple of $3, in part because Twitter has made itself essential to news junkies, tells me you got to latch on the affirmative on this one, too. Then there are the banks. And I am reeling from the positivity here. Remember how hated they were? No, not anymore. These stocks have been levitating for months. They start to report later this week. Right about now, Wall Street would normally begin to get real worried about what they are going to report because the stocks are coming in too hot. Now nobody cares. They just keep buying. The firm upgrades the banks this morning. Says the same thing everyone else said. Boost price target because, of course, the stocks have run, and it works. They run some more. Look, I'm not totally against this relentless positivity. Today we learned that because of a semiconductor shortage, Ford can't manufacture enough vehicles to meet demand. Ford, letter F. At the same time, they took a $4.1 billion charge. Sell. To end manufacturing in Brazil. In any other market, there would be shock. There would be horror. $4.1 billion charge. Huge earnings hit. And this one, of course, the stock rallied 3%. Why? Well, because there's huge demand for Ford vehicles, hence the shortage, kind of like Best Buy, right? And the fact that they're shutting down Brazilian manufacturing, still going to sell trucks. That tells you that the new CEO, Jim Farley, means business. The old Ford was willing to keep manufacturing cars and trucks and lose a lot of money. They seem to have a policy. We are going to lose money everywhere. That's not a winning strategy. Farley's willing to be tough, which is why the stock remains not a buy, a screaming buy. The bottom line, if you're wondering how long the Johnny Mercerization of this market can last, I say stop right there. That's the kind of central casting question that's kept people away from stocks for ages. When you worry about your stocks, I want you to do this. I want you to think of me freezing in line outside Best Buy, waiting to get into an empty store on Saturday. It was a lousy experience. Heaven forbid I would actually see something I like down some empty aisle, but they wouldn't let me buy it. And you know what? The stock says, who cares?
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @JimCramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.